Greetings and welcome to your Friday edition of Runescape Weekly. Magebit here. Joining me today is Pyrnassius. And on today's show, we got lots of stuff to talk about. We actually split today's show into two shows because it was a little bit ridiculously too long, which is my own fault for not being able to do a show in serial fashion. So we're going to try and do half the show today and half the show on Sunday. But yeah, I think we can just get right into it unless you got anything to add?
We don't say it that way, though. We say, no. We've got a great show for you today, and we're doing a bonus show for you on Sunday.
It doesn't feel like a bonus at this point.
I know.
I don't want to Jagex our audience.
I was going to say, you got to do it the way Jagex does it.
Alrighty, so I say we could probably get into the show. I didn't, of course, remember to queue up the music for the show or anything like that. It's I can only open so many music players to get this dang show running. Alright, let me pop open, and then we can begin. I just need this song to hang in for until VLC player decides to get its lazy ass open. Alright, there we go. Doesn't mean immediately start playing. I love music players. Ugh. Okay. Let us begin in 3, 2, 1. You're listening to Runescape Weekly for December 13th, 2019. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 18 billion years of RuneScape experience. I was like, it's December the 13th.
Gee, that's a lot of years.
I'll tell you what screwed me. I was like, hey, it's Friday the 13th. I hope I don't mess anything up. It's what was running through my brain. And I was like, God damn it. Don't. And then I said, say the number 13. All right. You're listening to RuneScape Weekly for December 13th, 2019. I'm your host, Magebit, with over 18 years of RuneScape experience. Joining me today is Pyrnassius. And on today's show, Jagex plots to direct and deliberate changes for 2020, Archaeology Journal, Stormguard, Citadel, Farming and Herblore 120 fixes, patch notes for the 12th, smooth movement, daily challenges rework, TLDW number 464, update information, TLDW number 465, December month ahead, dead clicks no more, ban the botters already, Jagex is doing me wrong, I got hacked, beware, RS3 moving away from old school RuneScape, hacking for items, is RNG a punishment, banned for doing agility tasks, Yak Track is amazing, how do you live with yourselves? Thank you for tuning into this edition of RuneScape Weekly, and enjoy the show. Welcome back to RuneScape Weekly. It is Friday the 13th. We're here to do a show for you. It's been a little while. It's been almost a month, actually. I apologize for that. Life's crazy. I'm not a fan. Really not a fan. But I've managed to start to get myself back into RuneScape. It's a full-time job, you know. There's a lot going on here. So, without further ado, I think we can pretty much jump directly into the show. Really big special thanks to our sustaining supporter, Sudwood. I think it's like the first time I've ever managed to say that at the beginning of the show. If you'd like to become a sustaining member, you can check that out over at patreon.com/runescape. Anyway, free item for the month is the Armadyl Wings. So if you want that, head over to the store and grab yourself them wings. They're actually pretty nice compared to some of the other wings in game. I'm not really.
Yeah, there's the one set of wings I like.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, I'm not much of a wing person, but if I had to be, these would probably be the wings that I would choose. All right. So, Pern, it's been a while. How you been?
It has been almost a month. Yeah, not too bad. It's basically the granny flat we've been building out in the backyard was finished on Wednesday. So yesterday and today we were basically filling it all up. My father-in-law moved in there this afternoon. So that's basically, I mean, I just been nuts. I've been just AFKing things over builders running in and out for the last 4 weeks every day, pretty much. Up at 6:30 every morning to make sure that they're let in and the dogs are locked up and things. So yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks. Having fun doing the yak track. Glad so many of those tasks have been so AFK because I was able just to sort of smack those out while I'm dealing with builders and things.
I noticed that the members track tended to be more AFK and a lot less things.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There's 2,500 potions and 2,500 things to cook and
AFK.
Making potions isn't really that AFK.
It's more AFK than doing a dungeoneering or a Slayer task.
Yeah, I know. Yes. Well, don't hey, hang on. Slayer is one of the most AFK things in game.
Depends on what you're fighting. I've unblocked all the hard tasks. So
what you do there is when you're doing your yak track. So if you've got 8 to do, you go to the lowest guy. What's his name? Sprayer or Mashnar or even Vanaka. Just go to one of those guys. Get your task down there. It's over in 3 minutes. If you're just doing it for your yak track, you don't have to go to the highest guy. Go to the lowest guy. You knock out your 8 tasks in 20 minutes.
Fair. That's kind of what I was doing for the fishing ones. I was like, all right, green jellies it is. I ain't fishing rocktails anymore. I'm a sucker. And I'm trying to finish this shit. Anyway. So the first article that we have for today, I mean, I should probably say where I've been and whatnot. I mean, life's been crazy for me. I would like to have more time and energy to dedicate to streaming, but my grandmother has pretty much entered her just advanced Alzheimer's, and she really needs somebody with her at all times. So that's either me or my mother. And in the time that I do have to myself, I'm exhausted from just running around after this person all day. So it's been hard for me to find the energy to consistently do the things that I like to do, which sucks. But hey, we're here now, so I'm definitely enjoying the yak track. I'm glad that it's not a per day thing, and you can just kind of run through it as you need to. One thing I will say that's a little Jagex-y is the advent calendar. It's oh cool, yeah, you can open them anytime you want, but if you want the super special thing, you got to log in 15 times and make sure you open that day's advent or you don't get it. So it's that's very Jagex-y.
There's super special things on there, is there?
Well, there's a pet or something that you don't get unless you open 15 advent calendar days on the day that they're supposed to be opened on.
Okay.
Also, another thing that I noticed that is fairly Jagex-y. Call me out if I'm wrong on this, but didn't they say they were going to... Didn't Alice say she was going away during the yak track?
No, she was going away for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. And did she? She went away for 2 weeks? Okay.
She was off for 2 weeks, and she come back this week. So.
Okay. All right. That's inconvenient then, because it's I came back the same week she came back, and I was like, she never left. They're a bunch of liars. Good.
I mean, let's also be fair. Alice might have gone on holidays, but the only thing different was that she wasn't sitting up in the corner where all the... where all the chests were. The chests were exactly the same that you had your keys for to open. So
that's. I knew there was going to be something about that was going to disappoint me, and there it is.
But yes.
Anyway, I'll jump into our first article here. This is coming from Eurogamer, and it says, after RuneScape's controversial 2019, Jagex plots direct and deliberate changes for 2020. So,
now, just before we go any further on that, I just want to point out to people, when they say RuneScape's controversial 2016, we had, 8 weeks where there was no updates because of a bunch of cancellations and changes and things, and there was a couple of, fairly high profile treasure hunter promotions in that time as well. So when they say a controversial 2009, well, we had a controversial 8 weeks. The rest of the year has been pretty much spot on as far as
You want
a lot of people
controversial?
seem
Go look at
concerned.
2018. That year sucked compared to 2019. Anyway, this article was by Lottie Lynn, and it says here, RuneScape was the introduction to the world of massively multiplayer online role-playing games for many gamers, where many of us met our first online friends and learnt about the MMORPG level grind from hours of fishing. This is actually where I was like, yep, this article's going in, this person gets it. Even if you've never played RuneScape, then you've probably had a friend who did, or maybe there's a chance that, like me, you're still playing to this day. I've been playing RuneScape with the occasional break for over 13 years. Throughout these years, I've witnessed both the lows, such as the removal of PvP in the wilderness between 2007 and 2011, and the highs, such as the release of old school RuneScape in 2013. I like how that's the high of RuneScape.
I would class that as a low.
That they had to split their community in half just to keep them around. I've completed fantastic quests filled with rewarding challenges and great storylines. My favorites are Ritual of Majorat and Well Gothic Sleeps. Just want to note that Majorat is spelled Majorent, which I thought was interesting. All the time I've spent in Gielinor also means I've seen the rise of microtransactions and monetization in RuneScape. As a subscription-based game, RuneScape has had an element of pay-to-play since membership program was first released in February of 2002. Also, now I know why it was so easy for me to get membership, because it was probably right around my birthday, too. I probably leveraged that hardcore if it came out in February. Since then, the membership cost has slowly risen, but it took 10 years for developer Jagex to introduce a new form of monetization, and it was called Squeal of Fortune. The concept was simple. Players could win prizes, coins for example, by spinning a wheel. Each player received a certain number of free spins each day, while additional spins could be earned in-game or purchased using real-world currency. Players were quick to criticize the new feature as being a form of real-world trading, which RuneScape has a long history of fighting against. In April 2012, Jagex redefined the rule about real-world trading in RuneScape, stating, "Real-world trading is the term used for activities which occur outside of the game environment, which result in the real-world sale or purchase of items, gold pieces, or services with the intention of supplying or advancing a Jagex in-game character other than by means which are incorporated into the game." This change clarifies that real-world trading has to involve a third party, and that any form of monetization owned by Jagex is omitted from this rule. But criticism of the Squeal of Fortune continued, until it was replaced with Treasure Hunter in 2014. Treasure Hunter remains the current loot box system in RuneScape and has received similar criticism to Squeal of Fortune due to players being able to purchase additional keys. It also has been criticized for creating a pay-to-win atmosphere, since many of its prizes, including a range of XP lamps, like genie lamps, supply players with large amounts of XP experience they can spend on a skill of their choice. The focus... Go ahead.
Sorry, again, large amounts. I mean, they're reasonable amounts, but I wouldn't call them large amounts. It's not, I mean, as we saw, pay to play, yeah, you want to spend 15 grand, then yeah, you might be able to max it out. But, you know, it's a little bit extra. It's not pay to play, pay to win as such.
The focus of these arguments is using Treasure Hunter devalues both the scoreboard and the very act of skilling itself. Player Red Horizon, who spoke to Eurogamer at RuneFest 2019, said that Treasure Hunter was bad enough, but then you've got promotions that offer double experience. At the same time of writing, Jagex has run 49 Treasure Hunter promos during 2019. The Bubbling Lamps promotion, for example, has run twice in 2019, first in February and then in June, rewarding players with a selection of special XP lamps. These lamps could be redeemed for either direct or bonus experience, allowing players to quickly gain experience and skills that typically take a lot of time to train, such as summoning and agility. Bonds and Solomon's General Store, two other forms of monetization for RuneScape, have faced similar accusations from player community. Bonds, which were introduced in 2013, can be traded between players in-game and redeemed for a variety of services, including membership and treasure hunter keys. Some players view bonds as a form of real-world trading, since players must first purchase them using real-world currency. Meanwhile, Solomon's General Store...
Now,
go ahead.
Sorry, again, players must first... No, some players purchase that way, other players purchase it with their in-game GP, which enables a lot more people to be able to buy memberships who might not otherwise have the cash to be able to do so.
That's the positive side of it, yeah.
Yeah, again, when they say some players, very few players, I think, would see bonds as a bad microtransaction.
And just to be clear, is at some point, for that bond to exist in-game, somebody had to have spent money on it?
Someone had to buy it, yes, but it also opened up a lot more for a lot more people to be able to play.
There's a velocity of impact that transaction has. For instance, somebody spends $7 on a bond. They gain, say, 30 million gold, 25 million gold, whatever bonds are. So they profit off of it by making in-game cash. Now, that bond then goes to somebody else who needs membership, okay? So then they cash that bond in, and now they have membership. So now they can then go and train on membership monsters and generate more wealth for the game, which in turn is what feeds the bond prices. Scarcity, wealth, how much money is being put into the game. So that initial bond that was created by that person continues to generate value for quite some time until it's, just a microtransaction. So there's more value in it than simply just the first transaction that existed in the line, because that player is going to go and create value. It would create value for the original person. That person might then go and buy another bond later down the road. Anyway, meanwhile, Solomon's General Store, which absorbed the Loyalty Store in 2013, has faced the same criticism, since many of its items must be purchased using Runecoin, which, again, can only be purchased using real-world currency.
And again, you can buy rune coins with bonds, which is also your in-game gold. So, I don't like how she sort of said that sentence there. Only using real-world currency. Yes, there was an original bond on real-world currency. Now. But it doesn't mean that, I've bought a lot of things on Solomon's Store. Every single one of them with in-game gold. I've bought a bond and then unlocked it that way. So I haven't actually spent any extra of my own actual dollars on it.
Riddle me this. How is this correct at all when everybody earns their rune coins? Nobody buys rune coins. Everybody uses the earn rune coins button. So that's just not true at all. Rune coins are 100% a free system based upon your labor answering surveys. Nobody needs to buy rune coins. Just go answer surveys. Lol. Anyway, the store originally focused on primarily cosmetic items such as hairstyles or pets, but now allows players to purchase services such as bank boosters through the use of Runecoin. Like Treasure Hunter, these items encourage players to spend additional money and put those who can't or choose not to at a disadvantage to those who do. Jagex...
Is it a disadvantage, though?
Having not enough bank spaces is constantly... There's never enough bank spaces in this game. Jagex also introduced an enhanced version of membership in 2012 called the Premier Club. This special form of membership can only be purchased in the latter months of each year, usually between November and January, and has 3 tiers for players to choose from: bronze, silver, and gold. Each tier supplies a different period of membership from 3 months to a year, at a discounted rate, and a variety of other bonuses, including new cosmetic items, a discount on rune metrics, and additional treasure hunter keys. Rune Metrics is an analytical tool, which was released in 2016 that can be accessed both in-game and through the RuneScape website. It has a variety of features, including both a wealth and experience tracker. If you want to use Rune Metrics to its full potential, then you'll have to purchase a full £3.99 a month subscription to Rune Metrics, which is separate to your actual standard £7.99 a month membership. I don't know if those numbers are even accurate anymore. Finally, Jagex experimented with a Battle Pass-inspired event in July of 2018 called Rune Pass. This 2-week-long event involved players completing a variety of tasks to earn rewards, and in proper Battle Pass style, there were 2 reward tracks players could follow, a free track and a premium track, which was purchasable for 400 rune coins, or around £7. Rune Pass was criticized by the player base for feeling more like an extension of the daily challenge system rather than being its own unique event. The free track was also criticized for lacking substantial rewards. Jagex was aware of the problems with Rune Pass. However, as senior product manager Matt Casey explained to Eurogamer, Rune Pass was probably a little bit rushed, and we didn't give it enough gestation time that resulted in a system that didn't offer enough value for players. You got a legendary pet for 400 rune coins, for God's sakes.
I know. Oh, but that was only if you remember, because the free players, they're the ones crying.
Right.
You didn't give us enough. Well, you're playing for freaking free anyway, so you don't need anything.
It doesn't have enough rewards, and players felt like it didn't represent good value, Casey added. Rune Pass and its successor, Yak Track, are part of a wider initiative for us to look at how we can evolve our monetization model and our strategy. For many years, the arguments over the implementation of monetization in RuneScape were confined to the game's subreddit and forums. But in April 2019, Jagex gave oral evidence at an investigation into the immersive and addictive technologies run by Digital, Culture, Media, and Sport Committee.
And a bunch of, and again, well, we've said this every time, but I'll just bring that up again. There were a lot of gaming companies asked to attend that, and Jagex were the only ones who actually put their hands up and actually attended to talk to them about it.
Some rare shit. John Goddard, head of corporate communications at Jagex, explained to Eurogamer that Jagex was approached directly by the select committee to take part in the process and were invited to attend and give oral evidence directly to the committee. Jagex was invited to appear before the select committee because, Goddard explained, the company leads in areas like player safety and player protection. Jagex gave evidence alongside a variety of game developers and social media companies including EA, Epic Games, and Instagram. The report from this investigation was released on the 12th of September, 2019. It included details on the weekly and monthly payment caps, £1,000 and £5,000 respectively, placed on players. Controversially, the report also included an anonymous complaint from the parents of an adult player who had reportedly spent in excess of £50,000 on RuneScape. In the written evidence supplied by this anonymous individual, the complaint claimed their son, quote, took out payday loans, bank loans, and maxed out a credit card, and detailed how this, quote, financially ruined their retirement plans, and they had to pay off their son's debt. Did they?
Now, they had no obligation to pay off their son's debt. They chose to do that. Now, it is not Jagex's responsibility that this guy was taking out, payday loans, bank loans, maxing out his credit card and such. They had that $5,000 limit. So and they tried to claim that this $50,000 was spent over a 3-month period. To do that, he would have to have done it for at least 10 months or rorted the system somehow. And
this guy's got all something
actually looked into. Yeah, when they looked into it properly, it was nowhere near £50,000 on actual RuneScape itself.
Right.
I think there was also a lot of gold buying off illegal gold sites.
Naughty.
From what I've read and looked into on this, he was doing a lot of gambling in the Jewel Arena.
This person sounds like they have
a lot of this money went in Jewel Arena gambling or staking, rather than buying cosmetics and keys and such. So
really, delete the Jewel Arena.
Go further, let's look at the truth in the matter. Yes, he spent a lot on. He did spend. I think the number was about. I think it was about 25,000 he spent with Jagex themselves. The rest was not with them and with gold farming sites from other things that I have read.
Gotcha. Thank you for that input there. Once the committee investigated further, as evidenced in the minutes of oral evidence given by Neil McClary, Vice President of Product and Player Strategy at Jagex, and Kelvin Plummer, a Director of Player Experience at Jagex, it became clear this figure is in fact closer to £17,000. So there you go. Goddard explained, concerning this particular case, we, Jagex, were unable to entirely corroborate the details that were submitted to the committee with our own records. There just wasn't an exact match, so it's very difficult when the complaint or evidence is submitted by someone who is not the account holder themselves. And as you just, specified, not all of the money lost was directly through microtransactions that are sanctioned by Jagex. A lot of it was through illegal channels, which Jagex has no control over. Jagex is currently awaiting feedback from the committee, which has been delayed due to the general election. Goddard commented that, well, that's over with now, so maybe we'll get an update. Goddard commented that even though Jagex is waiting for the response, not only are we in a strong position already to answer many of the suggestions they make, but we're also trying to be far ahead of it, and I don't think that any business should sit back and think they do everything right when it comes to player support and player safety. That's why we're looking very, very proactively into what we can do, and not just follow what we were told to do, but lead in that area. Hence, React Track. Still, despite Jagex's readiness to listen to the community's feedback, the report and the evidence it held reignited arguments about the place of monetization and loot boxes in RuneScape, which encapsulate the discussion of these features in video games as a whole. Loot boxes and in-game currency stores may be described as optional, but the services and items they provide are attractive to players, particularly in live service games where there is often a pressure to maintain the same level of progress as the rest of the player community.
Services and items that they provide are attractive to players. Well, of course they are, because that's why...
That's how they sell them.
I worked in a shop. I mean, my TVs and that were attractive to people because we wanted to sell them. Our services of having it installed so that you didn't have to do it all yourself was an attractive thing for you. That's the whole idea of they are optional.
You know why Wheel of Fortune got replaced with Treasure Hunter? Because it's has way more attractive prizes. You know why Ottoman Store exists? To add value, because it's way more attractive than the stupid Hearts of Ice cash out.
I bet that Jagex regrets showing up to this meeting, because they suddenly got named. They become the poster child
for microtransactions.
When they're the least egregious one out there on the market.
You want to go after somebody? Go after EA.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what frustrates me the most, and why I don't like all the microtransactions myself, but I understand they're necessary. But why I defend Jagex so much on it is because they do have one of the least egregious ones out there, and the way they just get attacked, and it just seems to be they showed up to say, hey, we want to work with you, we want to get this all worked out, and they've been used as let's paint them as the devil. And throw everything RuneScape and this, Jagex and other companies, and they're getting named constantly over this. Now, once you finish this, we've also actually got a copy of the letter that the father wrote. So I'll let you go through, and then I want to read that letter at the end of it as well.
Okay. RuneScape players can easily fall prey to this trap because some of the game's best content, such as quests or new locations, are locked behind high skill requirements. It's not a good reason to cheat.
No, it's not. You just play.
It's also impossible to avoid the microtransactions that exist in RuneScape. Every time you log into the game, you're taken to the lobby. Here, you'll find adverts for the latest deals in Solomon's General Store or the Treasure Hunter promotion. Once you enter the game itself, an icon to open Treasure Hunter will appear in the top left-hand corner of your screen, which you have to manually close. The temptation to spend is always present, and it shouldn't be. Personal opinion. Don't necessarily agree or disagree.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you can turn that off. So that's I have no issue there. Everyone advertises things. I mean, Coca-Cola advertises on the front of the local paper when you go shopping and things like that. I mean, that's the way things are.
It is second nature to me. The second I log into the game, the first thing my hand does by muscle memory is click the X on the Treasure Hunter thing. I don't even think about it. It's not even part of my thought process. The only time I think about Treasure Hunter is when there's a promotion I actually care about, and that's not very often.
My free keys I play, and then it closes, and
don't
worry about it until the next day.
And
the one I like this picture that she has up as well, though. She's got the adverts, Ranch Out of Time, brand new free content, Treasure Hunter Advent Calendar, which is free. You're not paying for the Advent Calendar. That is something that is free.
Mm-hmm.
And then the satire outfit that offers
that nobody buys.
The Solomon Store, exactly right. That's just a Solomon Store thing. Yeah, we have the Saturday, and it tells you how many loyalty points and how many rune coins you have in your bank.
Big bang bang.
Is
that a temptation alone? Is seeing your rune kind balance a temptation by itself? That rune coin balance is too low. I gotta buy some. I don't like it sitting at 25. That's an odd. That's it needs to be around 100. Anyway, the question Jagex is tackling now is how does it regain the trust players who become disenchanted with its implementation of monetization? Jagex's answer is a willingness to experiment with both its live events and monetization methods, with the goal of evolving beyond the current loot box system to one that is more appealing to players. This will also include revitalizing and reworking older forms of monetization, such as Solomon's General Store, over the coming years. Matt Casey said the aim of reconstructing the monetization with RuneScape is, quote, "We want players to feel any content they paid for is done in a generous way, represents good value for money, and we want to be transparent with those systems." If you play RuneScape, then you will have noticed that the first of these experiments has already occurred. From the 22nd of November until the 2nd of December 2019, RuneScape ran a reworked version of its double XP weekend. The difference being that rather than having the event occur over an actual weekend, each player was instead given an allotted 36 hours of double XP to use throughout the week. This innovation, according to Casey, received a positive response from the community. We got the right balance of players who wanted to min-max it and not lose out, but at the same time feel they have a choice of when to play.
Can we just say well done to Jagex on
yes.
that? I thought 36 hours was too much for myself. I'm not a big fan. If it was once a year, I'd be happy. When these type of things happen 3 times a year,
right,
I find 36 hours too much. But that's me personally.
I couldn't handle how shitty Slayer was to do all 36 hours.
But you had 10 days to use that 36 hours.
Just think about that. 10 days to use 36 hours, and I couldn't use all 36 hours on Slayer because it's that shitty of a skill.
It's the best skill in game. I could have knocked that out. If I had that, I could have done it all.
I wish I could hire you.
Weekend.
I wish Jagex would sanction a new.
I wish I could just trade you 100 mil of my, or 80. So I want to stay at 10.
We have someone in our.
I could give you like 95 mil of my Slayer XP.
I would love it. Oh, I would all in one gulp. I'd swallow it all.
This is things, and there's little things. If you play for longer than 4 hours, there's now pop-ups on your screen saying, hey, you've been playing for 4 hours. Think about taking a break. Yeah, there's little things like that. So they have been proactive. They've been, oh yeah, okay, let's think about this, and they're doing different things to try and be proactive on it. But every time they do, it just seems that. And it's a vocal minority, and I know most of our player base, and certainly our listeners, I know, are as a general rule pretty sensible and understand that hey, they are doing the right thing and appreciate what they're trying to do. But it's that vocal minority that just wants to criticize every single little thing in a negative way. It really frustrates me.
Agreed.
This is giving Greta Thunberg Person of the Year.
I'm gonna bitch slap you off the show if you keep bringing politics into it.
That wasn't politics. That was a stupid 16-year-old who's been brainwashed by adults and written speeches that she doesn't understand. Anyway, this observation. Let's go.
This observation is certainly true. A large percentage of RuneScape players have been playing for 5 to 10 years, and their lives become more complicated. The time they have for playing RuneScape dwindles because their grandmother has Alzheimer's and it's hard to sit at the computer and play the game for more than 20 minutes at a time. I'm sorry, I digress. The reimagining of the double XP weekend allowed these players to take advantage of the event's bonuses without having to schedule their life around RuneScape, preventing what was meant to be a fun event from becoming an inconvenience. The riskier experiment, however, was Count Yakula's Yak Track, which honestly, if it didn't go well, there's yak throw-up jokes all over that we don't get to utilize because the Yak Track is amazing. As mentioned, the game's previous attempt at a Battle Pass system, Rune Pass, wasn't well received by the players, speak for yourself, leading to feedback from both the player community and internally at Jagex that helped play a major role in the creation of Yak Track. To be fair, the one thing I'll say about that is at least all the complainers somehow made Yak Track what it is, because it's better than Rune Pass. I'll give you that.
Also, we did find out off Mod
Ow.
Osborne a few weeks ago that they actually do bring players in there on an MDA to do a lot of testing and a lot of work with them on these type of things. So I found that very interesting. They don't promote it, they don't talk about it because obviously
they're all under NDA. No.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, that is they are bringing in a lot of players to help them work on these type of things. So that'd be great to see as well.
It'd be awesome if we could get somebody to break their NDA undercover on our show. Just kidding. Just kidding. Wink, wink. Let's see here. This was the right decision because compared to Rune Pass, Yak Track is clearly the superior event in terms of both the rewards on offer and, most importantly, the tasks you complete to earn them. Agreed, agreed, and agreed. I don't even know if there were 3 things to agree with there, but have an extra one.
What I love, I mean, Yak Track falls straight in my wheelhouse of play. I mean, I don't like to do things for more than an hour or 2 at a time. So to be able to, I'm getting bored of fletching. Oh, beauty, it's just about done. Now I go do some fishing. Now I can go and do some wood cutting. It is perfect for someone like myself. And I think it opens up the game to a lot of other people to realize, hey, bounce around to different skills, and it doesn't feel like such a chore and such a job as everyone seems to treat it as these days. It is a game for fun, and you don't have to be bored because if you bounce between different skills, it doesn't feel as monotonous as it can when you're trying to do the same thing for 10 hours at a time.
Right. Unlike Rune Pass, where each player was given a series of daily tasks depending on which track they were on, each tier in the Yak Track has 2 dedicated tasks for you to pick from. These can either be skill-based tasks, which scale to your level in that particular skill, or an activity task, like picking cabbages near Port Sarum. This change ensures the Yak Track feels like a new piece of content rather than just an extension of the daily challenge system, especially since many of the tasks can take multiple hours to complete. Other alterations, such as a wider variety of rewards extending the length of the event from 2 weeks to 6, and ensuring Premier Club members receive the premium track for free, have also helped it feel like a unique event instead of an encore of Rune Pass. The fact that they gave it to Premier Club players really surprised me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought we might have got it just a bit cheaper or something. One thing I loved, or one thing I would say about the Yak Track I would have liked is where they throw up, lamps and all that. I would have liked, you can have, 25 springs, you can have 25 feathers, or you can have, a lamp, or you can have a star, rather than just giving me all those lamps or giving me all those stars, or, I don't like lamps. I don't mind stars because I still have to do the task. I'm not a big fan of lamps. I would have preferred to have the choice to take it either as bonus XP or maybe get tight springs or the Silver Hawk down rather than a lamp.
Any lamps that are not
that in the next one.
Any lamps that are not prismatic, I turn into oddments.
Yeah, me too.
The Live Ops team also used Yak Track as an opportunity to release an experimental update to Treasure Hunter that let players see the content of some loot boxes before buying them. Casey described it as a new feature that's more transparent, where players can still use their daily keys if they want to, and they can still earn the same type of rewards, but it's a much more open system that increases the amount of player choice and control. And insists there's still an amount of randomization in the prizes selected around them. Then if you use a key, you'll receive one of the prizes randomly, but you'll be able to see what they are. So if you see something you really want, you'll be able to go after it and get it. That's interesting. I don't hate that. While this new feature does give players an additional advantage when using Treasure Hunter, there will always be voices within the community that call for the removal of the loot box system entirely. It's highly unlikely, however, that Jagex will pull Treasure Hunter from RuneScape due to its revenue that it provides. What Casey did tell Eurogamer, though, is that the Live Ops team plans to run a number of tests throughout 2020 to help find the right balance and the right kind of mechanics as part of their commitment to evolving our model, moving away from a standard loot crate system. Aside from monetization, another issue that plagued RuneScape throughout the late summer and early autumn months of 2019 was the lack of content. Outside of the release of The Land Out of Time, the majority of updates RuneScape experienced before November 2019 were focused around improving the game's quality of life, such as bank placeholders and the Slayer collection log.
Which was absolutely awesome.
if you say so. Only 3 quests were released this year, and the planned weapon diversity update was unfortunately canceled. Weapon Diversity was a modernization project in a similar vein to the mining and smithing rework, which was released at the beginning of 2019. When asked about the project's cancellation by Eurogamer at RuneFest 2019, lead designer David Osborne explained, "It was meant to bring diversity to weapons, so it feels different to have short swords than it did to have a whip, and it wasn't doing that as well as it should. I'm glad I'm part of a game that decided, no, we're going to cancel that, rather than just say we put so much effort and sunk cost into it that we'll just launch it."
Which is basically what they did with EOC. EOC is great, but they've done so much, and they just set a date. We have to have it released by then, and they just did it in a broken format, which caused a lot of issues. So, yeah, well done that they actually learnt from that and didn't do that this time.
We currently live in an era where some developers release content in games that contain multiple issues, which are slowly fixed via patches after their release. It's refreshing to see Jagex decided against releasing an update it believed wasn't performing to the correct standard. The unintentional problem, however, was there wasn't anything to replace with weapon diversity in the schedule. As Osborne said, we canceled weapon diversity and left a hole. What we need to get better at is having update contingency. This content drought, right? This content drought was brought to an end with the release of the Ranch at a Time feature, and both the farming and Herblore skills being raised to 120 at the end of November. RuneScape also promises to start 2020 off strong with the release of Archaeology on the 28th of January, which looks perfect for Gielinor lore nerds like myself. Yet, to ensure this content black hole doesn't happen again, Jagex plans to temporarily increase the size of the RuneScape development team. Quote, "We're going to get a number of people that can help us develop a number of projects," Osborne explained. "That means we have a contingency, so if something like weapon diversity happens as a subscriber, you don't feel like you have an empty gap." Jagex will also create a sub-team to work on developing new quests and remastering old elements of the game. The remastering sub-team will begin with reworking of managing miscellanea, while the quest sub-team will work on an Azarandra quest. So that's some interesting info. The news of quest sub-team is especially welcome. For many players, the variety of quests available in RuneScape is one of the main reasons why they keep playing. You can join the rebellion against the vampiric lords in Mortania, uncover secrets of the elven race, or find out why penguins are acting suspiciously. There are even multiple murder mystery quests, including Murder Mystery, released in 2003, and The Needle Skips. I'd also like to point out One Piercing Note could probably be classified as a murder mystery. Yeah. Quest development has slowed in the last couple of years, with 4 being released in 2018 and 6 in 2017, leaving questers of RuneScape wanting. Hopefully the new... Go ahead.
When they say 6 in 2017, don't forget 4 of those were Lost quests. So I would say 3 in 2007 as well, personally.
I have a guy all the way to the max guild for a cooking cape. Say that last part again. I wasn't paying attention.
I was just saying, in 2017, 4 of those quests were the Menaphos quest, which was one quest broken into sort of 4 parts, really. So I would argue that there was also 3 quests in 2017, but that's,
Gotcha. Hopefully the new quest sub-team will create a range of exciting quests, continuing the subversive yet engaging tone of the game is known for. 2 quests for 2020 have already been confirmed at RuneFest 2019, Desperate Measures, the sequel to Desperate Times, and City of Sentiston, which, if I remember correctly, should introduce new curses.
Yes.
That's going to be cool. Jagex hasn't, however, just created a selection of new sub-teams. It also increased resources for all of its major teams. Ryan Ward, executive producer for RuneScape, explained to Eurogamer, "We added resources to each of the teams, and we actually had our teams focused on 3 different core areas: live ops, episodic content, and core experiences." Ward added he is now, quote, "trying to look forward and look at the 2020 vision and 2020 roadmap, align each of the efforts from episodic content, core experience, and live ops so they actually feed into each other and make sense with each other." The hope is these additional resources with monetization and Jagex's short-term goal, as Ward described it, of having the players experience and see the real, direct, and deliberate changes, and that we're in this regular cadence of feedback. This also signals an increased focus on communication with players in both the terms of player protection and listening to feedback. The challenges awaiting RuneScape and Jagex in 2020 lie in how it develops its approach. I'm sorry, I looked over at the game client for a second there and lost my... How Jagex develops its approach to monetization and its efforts to regain the trust of its community. Personally, I'm optimistic about the future of RuneScape, as its foundation for these goals already appears to have been set. The creation of the RuneScape sub-teams and the additional resources for pre-existing teams should hopefully ensure players in 2020 don't experience a drop in content, while also helping new updates such as Archaeology and the promised Elder God Wars dungeon reach their full potential. When it comes to monetization, players are already experiencing the results of the live ops team's desire to innovate in the form of the Yak Track. Only the coming year, however, can tell us whether the success will continue if Jagex can meet Ward's long-term goal of becoming where the industry looks for answers and solutions for monetization systems, with Jagex viewed as the shining example of the industry.
And I think that is a good goal for Jagex, because while they are... Yeah, they are a large company, and they are owned by a parent company. They still have a bit of autonomy there, and they are still small enough to be classed as sort of an indie-style game company rather than, ones like EA and such. So, I think they should do pretty well there. There's a few things in there I don't sort of agree with and such, but I mean, we have to wait and see, and we also need to remember that you can't look at an entire year over 8 weeks and say that's we've had a terrible year because of one little glitch of 8 weeks.
Killer Bunny is saying trust and transparency gets old after a while of hearing a company repeat those things over and over again. It feels like a punchline rather than meaningful.
You'll never get trust. Just the way people are these days, they just don't trust companies full stop, and it doesn't matter what you do, they will not gain trust of the players. You cannot get that is, they want the trust. They are offering a lot of transparency, and you look at any other game out there, and no one shows what Jagex does, and and that's why they get and that's what pisses me off. And we've got something coming up later on. There's been a big thing on Twitter where harassment and bullying of a particular mod. It was an old school mod, so we do expect that from old school players. Sorry, it's just my tongue in cheek.
It's unfortunate,
but that type of thing can't go on. It is bullying. It is harassment. It is abuse. When you do things like that, you have every right to be critical and to send those criticisms to somewhere, but you've got to do it in the right way. You can't sit there and just bully someone and abuse them like that, and and expect people to listen to you.
Right.
It's especially in this day and age where there's so much suicide and such going on because of pressures and bullying and such. I don't understand why these players think it's okay that they do that, because they can hide behind a keyboard and remain anonymous, that they have the right to treat another person that way, and that someone who does suffer depression and has been through that type of thing, it's not acceptable to do things like that.
I agree. Would you care to read us Archaeology Journal Stormguard Citadel?
I will. I just want to read this letter that was sent in by the father first.
Oh, okay. Go for it. I'm going to run to the bathroom while you do that.
Yep. He basically says, I am a father of 2 sons, one in London, and the younger one, just under 25 years old, has been addicted to a game called RuneScape for years. In fact, trying to keep up with others has financially ruined our retirement plans, as we have had to bail him out twice when he has got to the point of massive debt. He has a good job, but works European shifts. This means, and I think it meant this means, he has a lot of time to spend at home, and this is how his online gaming activities, because became all-encompassing in his life. His debts the first time got as much as 50,000, yes, all down to RuneScape. We sorted that out, paid off his debts, and he also started to pay off the remainder. Then a few months ago, he came to us and said he had got into a mess again and was in need of financial help. We again had to lose all of our savings, and we will have no chance of ever getting any back from him. I emailed Jamie Stone MP and asked him to highlight the issue. I wrote to the RuneScape owner, Jagex Limited in Cambridge, and the MD wrote back, and in a very dismissive way, they did not care that our son was able to spend hundreds of pounds in a day buying fictional items to use in his game. It's not gambling, but to play, you can play a little and spend hours increasing powers, cores, etc. But anyone with a credit card account, mobile phone, or PayPal can spend unlimited amounts any day. And we already know that that is not the case. They do have a £1,000 limit daily and a 5,000 week limit. Our son took out payday loans, bank loans, and maxed a credit card, all because he was addicted to RuneScape. So basically, we have had to use all our savings to bail him out, so we've lost a fortune. Jagex don't care and do not limit time playing or spend at any time. Please put a stop to this and place limits on both for anyone. So, again, we know that there are limits in place that has come out. Twice that this guy has done this, and he's just under 25 years old. So he is old enough to know better. And I'm sorry, why is he getting loans if he's in debt all the time? You know, go and speak to your bank about
who gives loans to 25-year-olds. I was trying to get credit cards at 25 and I was getting denied.
Exactly. I mean, he's maxed out a credit card. I mean, 50,000. I mean, those payday loans. I'm sorry, if you've gone to those payday loans, they are sharks. They are. You know, they'll give a loan to anybody. Of loan sharks.
Yeah, those places are scams and just looking to take advantage of people.
But I mean, to sit here and try and blame Jagex, and you know, he's 25 years old. He's got to take. I mean, if this kid was 14 and stealing his dad's credit card and doing it, okay, I can understand. You have no obligation to pay out his debts. He can declare bankruptcy.
Yeah,
and you know, and work it off himself. And then you've gone and done it a second time. I mean, if you bail him out the first time and you say, "Listen, do it again," and you're on your own, make him do that. Make him take responsibility for himself. And yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. That you know that we did have the actual letter sent there, and there is it wasn't anywhere near 50,000 that he actually spent with Jagex, the company themselves, either. So just to let people know that. But I just wanted to highlight that letter that was actually sent down. Okay. And as Killer Bunny said, he's played for years and doesn't have the basis down for making GP. He doesn't seem to know how to play the game. Yeah, from what I've read on further research, he was actually gambling it away at Jewel Arena. That's where all the actual money was going. He was just buying in-game gold and just going to Jewel Arena and losing it there. So, you know, that's a big reason why Jewel Arena should be removed for all the staking and such that goes on there.
So that's what happens when you don't have the PVM skills to back up your debts.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to something much more fun, and this is the Archaeology Journal, Stormguard Citadel. Our top men at the Gillinor Gazette have snuck into the exam centre and, in a series of humorous and improbable events we won't detail here, managed to get their hand on Professor Tony's Archaeology Journal. Let's take a peek inside. Erisail, Wintumber 6. Wahi! Thanks to our successful mission in Anachronia, we've received another round of funding. Now we can finally get on and do some real archaeology. Unfortunately, we've had no end of nosy Parkers writing in, trying to get us to excavate their neighbour's farming patch or to investigate their pub cellar. Rubbish! But this one seems different, like a real challenge. It all started when we received a letter from those odd folks at the Temple of Ikov. Apparently, they've discovered an unusual portal-like structure of Avianci design, engraved with the words Stormguard. When I showed it to our expert Geeka, she nearly flew right through the ceiling. It seems that Stormguard refers to a Stormguard Citadel, a fantastical floating fortress that was once home to the most brilliant of the Avianci inventors. Just imagine what kind of technology those feathered fabricators were working on. Unfortunately, at the height of the God Wars, something terrible happened, and Stormguard Citadel was blasted into pieces, leaving no known survivors. At all costs, we must discover what exactly happened to reduce Armadyl's great laboratory to a pile of floating rubble, and bring closure to the poor souls lost in the blast. It seems that if we choose to proceed with this excavation, we'll need to take an inventive approach. If Stormguard Citadel is accessible to at all, it will need to be floating. It'll be floating several miles above Gillinor, and I doubt there'll be a neatly marked path to follow while we're there. Thankfully, I have a cunning plan.
In almost 20 years, nobody saw a giant friggin' floating, blown up citadel in the sky.
Yeah, like meteorites just floating up there. If Stormguard Citadel really was behind the technology used in the God Wars, then I bet we'll find plenty of juicy secrets and curious characters. Of particular note is an Aviansi scientist named Hal, who appears in much of the preliminary material we've gathered. Our sources tell me that's almost certainly a code name, so this Hal fellow must have been hard to pin down, even in life. One thing we do know is that Hal's research involves something called Aetherium, that he used to create his magnum opus. What might that be, I wonder? The few excerpts we've managed to gather here and there, but just think of the scientific knowledge we could gain by finding the rest. I'm almost giddy with glee thinking about it. Oh, blast! I think I hear Reiniger calling me. The sooner we finish with this mysterious monolith, the sooner we can move on to some really exciting digs. That journal definitely seems worth the 9 top men we burned through trying to get hold of it, but plenty of mysteries still remain. To see all the information we've gathered so far, go have a gander at the Archaeology portal and keep your eyes peeled for the next Archaeology journal, which deals with somewhere called Warforge. Tony seems very excited about it. See you next time, adventurers. So Warforge, I reckon, is going to be Bandos's one.
Makes sense. So, cool. I don't have too much to say about this, except how we didn't see it blowing up freaking citadel in the sky. Hey, Wolves. Also, what was the excuse for the clan citadel? That's a good question. I don't remember that.
So I was just saying, maybe it's floating down, down off the, way down south somewhere, away from any landmass underneath it, so no one really spotted it.
Thank you for the bits, Killer Bunny. Appreciate that. So we can move along here to farming and Herblore 120 fixes. We suspected that, like us, you're all busy raising dinosaurs and brewing potions, and are generally engaged in all sorts of 120-themed Gillinorian activity. But if you can spare us a few minutes, we've got a few changes to farming and Herblore 120 to tell you about, and an update on the Activity Pets competition. Farblore. That's, you know what, F it. We just combine the two skills together, save some space. Farblore. Are you all having fun on your journey to 120? Listen, I woke up and I was 120. It sucks. Well, be prepared to have even more fun now that we've fixed a few cheeky bugs that have cropped up. It's now possible to add noted insects to the troughs of the ranch at a time. You will now be notified when you don't have the right levels to make primal pulp. Creating unfinished potions will no longer provide duplicate vials. You will no longer be able to make potions with ingredients stored on your Beast of Burden. The Scroll of Cleansing now saves the correct number of Grenwall spikes. Drinking an Elder Overload potion while using the Maniacal or Berserker aura will now correctly boost combat stats to 130. Those are not the only bug fixes and improvements. That you can read the whole patch notes, but We've also had a look at some older content, including the mining and smithing rework and Araxor. Blessed and extra fine sand used for creating the Blessed Flask are now tradable. 1K, 2K, 5K, and 10 kilogram sandstone have had their buy limit on the Grand Exchange increased to 10,000. The smithing auto heater message can now be filtered. Java client sunset. Having announced the decision to move to NXT earlier this month, we wanted to let you know that we will be shutting down RuneScape's legacy Java client from December 18th, 2019. That's very soon. It's next week. Closing the Java client means we could focus on the far superior NXT version, which offers loads of benefits and better performance, increased draw distances, and enhanced graphic. But fear not, if you're still playing the game on Java, it has never been easier to switch to NXT. Providing you're not using an older legacy operating system, you shouldn't have any problems. Define older legacy operating system? Because technically,
Windows 95.
I was going to say, technically Windows 7 is no longer supported. It stopped.
Wasn't it XP? And I think they were still doing XP, but anything below XP
No,
was...
Windows 7 stopped receiving security updates like
No,
literally
I
a couple
know
weeks
that.
ago.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
with,
Oh, as far as
Jagex.
what they support, okay.
Yeah.
They don't support XP,
XP
though.
and upwards.
Really? Okay. For the small number...
It went from XP to Windows 7, didn't it?
Yeah,
Was there one in between?
Vista. But...
Vista. Oh, yeah, Vista. Maybe it was Vista upwards, then XP. XP
Yes.
down, they don't support. Yeah.
Correct. I'm pretty sure they support Vista up, because Vista is on the same kernel technology as 7 and...
Yeah. Sorry, I thought XP was the one before 7, but yeah, Vista. Vista upwards.
Can my Commodore 64 run RuneScape? You know, how
Probably
many
could.
how many cassette decks do you think it would take to fit 9 gigabytes of data? And how long would it take to run all of those cassettes before you could actually log in?
I love my old data sets. So easy to clone games back then.
Yeah.
Just a double-sided tape deck, chuck it in, and away you go.
I missed that generation of gaming consoles. NES was my and Game Boy. Those were my first jams. Let's see here. For the small number of players who own much older machines or are running dated versions of Windows and still encounter issues, you can find more help in our technical help section. So basically, if you want to yell at somebody, you can go yell at her. Seriously, just buy a new computer. You can spend like $200 on a computer, and it will run RuneScape if it's a modern computer. Black Friday is no longer relevant. Activity Pets competition. A few days ago, we announced that we would be giving another direction to the Activity Pets project. All details are in this blog over here, but we're not going to... Yeah. So the competition entries are now closed. We have received a lot of pretty interesting and sometimes surprising designs, so we'd like to thank you for participating. So what are the next steps?
I sent it to design.
Did you?
Yeah, for the money one. I had Yelps running, and just as he's running behind you, just coins falling out of his pocket.
Nice. It's now time for our teams to select their favorite designs, and as we said, we'll focus on creative ideas rather than artistic talent. We will then announce that shortlist in our weekly live stream on Tuesday, 3rd of December, which is that was this week, yeah?
Yeah.
So if they've announced them.
2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. So they've announced them already. I want to know what they are. I guess hopefully we'll figure that out in the TLDWs. Anyway, let's keep moving on here. Is there anything relevant in the patch notes that we should talk about? Or
Not really in this one.
okay.
Yeah, there's a few things on the Yak track, but that was just all little fixes. There wasn't a whole lot in there, mainly little fixes. There was, sorry, I'm just trying to find it now. The extra parasols that the player doesn't require are no longer lost when you make the black parasol. The destroy all option now works as it was intended when trying to destroy the clan Vexilliums in your inventory. The weapon poison can now be applied in the bank interface, which I thought was quite a good one. But other than that, yeah, that's all the rest are pretty much basic things.
Gotcha. Would you care to then read the game update for smooth movement?
I will. While you've been gliding about on the ice outside, we've been working on some smooth moves of our own. We've also got some reminders about all the festive fun coming to RuneScape this month, and in an update on the Activities Pet competition. And just while I take a little bit of time and just put my zoom on, because those words are getting smaller to me.
Mm-hmm.
Smooth movement. As you may have some adjustments to the way characters move in RuneScape. This week, smooth movement goes live. The movement of any player or NPC character in RuneScape is controlled by the game server. Previously, every 600 milliseconds, a game tick, the server updated your character's position and sent it to your game client. Then the client interpolated between the character's last known position and their new one to make the movement seem more natural. For example, if a character ended up too far behind its new position, its speed was increased by a fixed amount until it caught up. To make a long story short, this update has improved that calculation so the client makes when moving characters about, making movement appear more fluid and natural. If you'd like to know more about it, there is a Modnins dev blog where you can learn all about the cool tech stuff that went into this update. This is an integral part of the game, so if anything seems strange about your character's movement after this update, we'd like to know about it. And I was just it looks fantastic. I had a lot of issues with Big Game Hunter, just where my character was facing and surging. I'd finally worked out how to do their pathing system, and with this update, it's just totally ruined that again, and you're just going off in totally wrong directions when you're surging and such again. So, other than that, I believe it's been pretty successful.
Cool.
Again, a couple of patch notes. They've tweaked the bean sales value across the board for all the new Ranch Out of Time animals.
He said tweak.
And your weapon poison potions will no longer instantly run out when used in conjunction with Atlantodyme incense potions.
Cool.
Slay armor, you better watch out because something wicked is coming to town. Demand figgy pudding and terrorize your friends and neighbors in this spooky but stylish set of plate armor available in Solomon's General Store. Oh, it's just a general store.
You got it.
So
you got Jagex.
I thought it was going to be one that we'd earn. Just a reminder again on the Jagex client shutdown, and that was basically it on that.
Right on. Got a dev vlog here for Daily Challenge reworks. There's a surprise update coming next week in the form of Daily Challenge reworks. It says here, hey all, Mod Shogun here, and I wanted to let you know about some cool changes to the Daily Challenge system that I've been working on. As I see it, there are three main problems with the current Daily Challenge system. First, daily challenges can feel unbalanced because they are currently a mix of quick and easy tasks and long and tedious ones. Secondly, you are sometimes forced to hand over the items you've created, which feels unsatisfying. And finally, you have to stop what you're doing and visit a challenge master in Prifddinas, Menophoth, Moss, wow, I can talk, Berthorpe, or to complete your challenge, which is disruptive to the gameplay. Agree. That's actually the biggest thing that prevents me from doing challenges.
I know, because I always forget to hand them in.
Yeah,
Just in, God, years.
I think I actually have it.
I don't think I've. No.
I probably have a completed challenge to hand it. Yep, I do, and it's a Slayer one. Big surprise.
Yeah.
We began by taking a look at daily challenges that just feel like chores. For example, one agility challenge requires you to do 32 laps of the Barbarian Outpost agility course. This means not only that you have to do a large number of laps, but also that you can't even choose where to do them. Furthermore, if your agility level is way beyond the selected course, then this challenge isn't even earning you XP. So, to solve this issue, we have simply increased player agency. Instead of having several challenges per skill, most of the time there will now only be one. This single challenge will require you to interact with the skill in a manner of your choosing. You might be asked to run 5 laps of an agility course, but you're free to pick which one. Or maybe you'll need to cut 28 logs. If so, you'll be able to choose from which trees you'd like. The amount of the activity required to complete a challenge has also been reduced, not because of difficulty, but because of completing a challenge often felt more like busy work. No longer will you have to spend your time lighting every single beacon simultaneously, stringing 336 Elder Shield Bows, or baking ludicrous amounts of summer pies. Which brings us to our next topic. Previously, you'd trade away your crafted items when completing a challenge and receive something of equal value. And I always hated that.
Yes.
You'd be like, hey, I'm going to take these valuable items from you and hand you this pile of garbage. The problem was that sometimes you'd receive items that were just as valuable, but not nearly as useful as the ones you'd have. Exactly. Now, you will keep all the items crafted during a challenge. Hope you're hungry for summer pies. Love that, especially construction. Yeah. Here's a look at the daily challenges interface. So it's been cleaned up. It looks a lot similar to basically the settings interface. It's or the challenge, not the challenge interface, the activity tracker. Oh, my insides hurt. So like they show off daily agility. They call them by what their skills instead of the activity. Daily farming, daily agility, daily fire making. So then it says like complete 5 full laps of an agility course, and you can extend it. You can re-roll it. What do you re-roll that into? I'd like to know. Oh, my insides really hurt all of a sudden. You can see that the recommended tasks have been removed and replaced by a new claim rewards button that will allow you to complete your challenges and receive your rewards from anywhere in the game world. With all these changes to the challenge completion, we felt it was time to revisit XP reward for daily challenges. We looked at several options, but in the end we decided that each daily challenge should award the XP equivalent of a huge prismatic lamp. So that's a good chunk of XP for 99.
You re-roll, so basically if you say you've got an agility and you didn't want to pick up one of the other skills that you have, so you might get your summoning or your slayer or whatever.
Yeah. We've really enjoyed working on the daily challenge rework, and we hope that you'll all have fun completing the new challenges we've devised. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some dailies to do. Mod Shogun, content developer. Thank you, Mod Shogun. You're a good person. That'll probably get me to do more challenges.
Yeah, since I maxed out the sort of skills at 99s and my dungeoneering at 120, I haven't really done any challenges.
Me either. Well, I haven't done one since that Slayer one that I left sitting there.
That's about 86k XP, I think.
Yeah, maybe I should wait. Maybe it'll be more. What's a
large? No, a large isn't
huge.
The huge lamp's about 68k.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along here. TLDW number 464, the ranch out of time, but we're really only concerned about the update information here, right?
Yep. Yeah, just the bug concerns.
Bugs and concerns. There's around 11 hot fixes, including fixing escapability, farm request turn-ins, and beast of burden fixes. What the fuck a beast of ability is? The ability to make potions from your beast of burden was a bug. It wasn't a quality of life improvement.
Oh, people were loving that one.
It's not a bug. It's not a feature. It is a bug. Nice.
It's like when they did the fletching with doing the 60 arrows at a time rather than 10. People were loving it, and then they reverted it back, and everyone screamed.
The ability, let's see. So it wasn't intentional, and therefore it can have unintended consequences and balance concerns. We may look into making it an intended feature, but there's no guarantee. They're lying. They just want you to.
No, they're not going to.
They just want you to be quiet.
The people.
Yeah. Hopefully people will forget it. The only way they'll make that permanent is unless you got to spam it every week on Reddit for the next year and a half, and then maybe they'll make it permanent. Dungeoneering doors scaling to 120 coincidental change based on how Dungeoneering was coded. We don't want to make any knee-jerk reactions and immediately fix it. We will be collecting constructive feedback. Should they scale to 120? Tears of Gothics does. Is that a threat? Post-update. Time has been allocated for the team to make post-update improvements and fixes based on feedback, so there'll be more achievements. Some things that can't be done immediately, like seed storage, hasn't been forgotten. You weren't intended to do everything on launch. Farming is a time-gated skill and Herblore isn't. Therefore, you can train both at the same time. We won't make any knee-jerk reactions based on day 1 or 2 feedback, based instead on use data. We aren't worried about certain things being niche, as it has its places and uses.
A lot of complaints come out because, you needed beak snot or the dinosaur roar and things like that for a lot of the new potions, which obviously are very hard to get. You have to, first breed the animals and then harvest them and such. So obviously all those items, they're going to take a good 6 or 9 months before there's a lot of them in game, and that was an intended feature of it. But I know there's a lot of complaints because it was too hard to do, and I can't buy this and all that type of stuff. So
that actually came to my mind, Bunny. Is prior to that, you could click a portable or do a task that could exceed 28 items if you had the items to pull from your familiar, meaning like you could have a button bound and then like refill your inventory. Not a lot, but there were a few, and after the update, fletching, they capped the process at 28 max.
Yeah, no, the fletching one was only in for 2 weeks because you could always only fletch 10 arrows at a time. So when you got your whole bundle of, so say you've got your Ascension shards to do into bolts, they were doing 60 when they were only designed to be doing that 10 or 15 at a time. That was the one I'm talking about.
Would you like to kick off our December month ahead?
I will kick that one off. 16th of December is the last update of the year, so that's this Monday. The Java client will shut down on Wednesday the 18th, and the Smooth Movement releases did come out this week. We obviously read the Stormguard journal. It'll be a rundown because history has not been kind to it, so don't expect it to look pristine. The site is based at the Temple of Ikov. So, invention-based content, hopefully some steps towards the rite of passage. Now, if I remember correctly, isn't Temple of Ikov in a cave?
It is underground, slightly northeast of Ardoin.
So the
just east.
Stormguard is in Temple of Ikov, but it's floating in the sky.
I'm very confused. Maybe no, isn't the portal to Temple? They found a portal, I think, if I remember correctly when you were reading. They found an Armadillian portal that leads to the inside of Ikov.
So maybe Stormguard portal is actually over on Armadill's home world.
Maybe.
And that's a portal through to it, and that's why we haven't seen it before. That'll be interesting.
Anything's possible.
Hopefully some steps towards rite of passage. So yeah, so it looks like it is going to be on Armadillian homeworld, because rite of passage was that quest that they were doing to take us there. The daily challenge reworks, again, they are coming out on the 16th of December. We just went right through that. A few of them were very popular, such as Dungeoneering. Now, that's going to be interesting because if you're only going to get a large lamp or a huge lamp now, Dungeoneering used to give, close on 200k XP.
Yeah.
Now you're only going to get 68k. That's going to sort of maybe take Dungeoneering down a bit there.
What does a Dungeoneering huge lamp look like? I don't know what a huge lamp looked like post 99, to be honest.
Yeah. I thought it was only 68k on those, but anyway, whatever.
Wait.
So there may be a bit of a nerf on Dungeoneering XP, but it's going to be it's going to be the same XP across the board now, which I think is a lot better.
It's overall going to be a better system. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. As you said, no longer need to hand in what you made. The challenge mystery bag is removed. There'll be just a claim rewards button, so you don't need to go in anymore, and it gives the XP directly from the interface. Combat challenges will be rewarded as a lamp because of pures. Well, bad luck to your pures. Just don't let them do it if they want to play the game that way. So yeah, there it is. All challenges will now give the equivalent of huge XP lamp, including Dungeoneering, which is 68.8k XP at level 98 plus. So you get 68.8k on everything, and that's include. So Dungeoneering is basically getting about a third of what you used to get.
Ouch.
Pets.
Thank God I'm 120.
But at least now you can just go in and run, like a small dungeon.
Right. That's an improvement.
Yeah. Aim to poll on between the 16th and 23rd of December, so there will be a poll coming in on Monday. Remember, it's the idea of the pet that matters much more than the art. A few good ones we've come across, and these aren't the shortlist ones, but will be polled. And they've got a whole lot of pictures there, but there's the I Love Varak, Nico the Chameleon, Gnorm the Gnome, George by Glaysite, Pico, Moon, Skips the Touring Cave Goblin.
I'm very confused.
The Clue Pet, there's one called Trenchy, Day the Die Collector, and Meek the Lucky Meerkat. Cassie and Puzzlelot. There's just some question marks there. I don't know that. There's Prowler and Jelly Leo.
I love the Chameleon.
Pet. A Loot Beam by Bunny Ribbon, The Lone Shark, and Frog of Fortune. There's an Imp, there's a Richie, there's Glint, and Money Grub. and the golden tusk. So my one didn't make it.
Dang.
My
I'm
one would have
looking
been
through them here. I like the frogs. Always like frogs.
You get them up on screen for everyone, or
I can put them up on screen if you'd like.
Probably, yeah, just have a look. So we'll just go through each one. I'll let you read them out as you put them up.
Okay, hang on. I stretched something out there. Okay. I personally... So the first one I'm a little confused on is just the second thing area pet. The thing in Lumbridge has inspired other KGP members to try the same thing elsewhere with varying results. So it's penguins in different outfits from around the world, which is cute. Then there's Alice in the area pet, which is a llama or an alpaca wearing outfits from around the lands. One I really like, Nico the chameleon. I like chameleons, and I like the art that they've made, which is, I'm not supposed to judge it based on the art, but it's nice.
But I love the way they've done it. Like Mauritania has the little Mortmire fungus on it. The desert has a cactus. Zenaris has fairy wings. The wilderness has a volcano look-alike. The Ark has like the shark fin, and then the Elven Lands has got crystal on it. I think they've done that really well.
Yeah, the gnome one, it's all right. Never been a huge fan of gnomes. I like the frogs. Big fan of frogs. Again, theme from the different lands. I don't know what these are, but I like them. Are they armadillos? Pico is a pangolin-like creature. They have magical skills. It's an armadillo. Shut up. Also, they look. I like these as well. There's so many of them. Oh, this is cool too.
Area.
Moon, the RuneScape area pet. I like this one as well. It's like
looks like a bit of a Chinese dragon type thing.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I have a hard time voting on these. Of course, these aren't the short list yet, so that's good.
No.
Skips, the touring cave goblin. I hate it. I'm sorry. It looks like an old person who just doesn't belong where they are, and it just
looks like an old Zanuck model.
It kind of does. It just makes me uncomfortable. Let's see here. Trenchy, we're into clue pets now.
Yep.
So this is Trenchy, the Gillinor's best detective. That's pretty cool. I like that. Or Basil, which is another really nice one. You could kind of match his outfit as well. It's got like a little thief style outfit. I like it. What do we have here? The die collector die. That's I like it. Meek, the lucky meerkat. Those are pretty cute.
Yeah, I like the meerkats because they are sort of synonymous with clues, you know?
Yeah, same. That's a good point. Cassie, the clue pet scroll thing, octopus in a chest. It's cute. Puzzle. I can't even read that. Okay, it's a puzzle piece.
Like Sir Puzzle Lot. Yeah, not a big fan of that one. Doesn't really suit the sort of the RuneScape theme.
What is this one? It's a looks like some sort of it's like a Saren deer though.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. It's pretty, but and then there's lucky clue scroll rabbits, which apparently have all the different dyes. Prowler, Sherlock based raccoon, and Jellilo, the clue scroll pet, which is a jelly, which has different treasures inside of it. That I actually like. That would be cool. Money making pet. The loot bean. That's adorable. It's a loot bean. It's so valuable that it has its own loot beam. Lone shark. That's cute. And perfect for what we were just talking about earlier with payday loans and whatnot. Froggo Fortune, the money-making pet. I like the Froggo Fortune as well. That's really cool. The imp with a bag of GP that drops coins as you walk. That was supposed to be Yelps.
That's right.
Kitsune, money making. It's cute. I like that as well.
Little female fox, yeah.
Yeah, spirit fox. However, this does not mean that Kitsunes are ghosts. Okay. We have Richie, the money-making pet, is fancy magpie with the top hat and monocle. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, because the magpie summoning pet that used to drop the coins and collect everything for you. Yeah.
I used to be a fisher, as you may know that about me. I used to fish in RuneScape a lot, and I would have a magpie out a lot of the times back in the old days, picking up crap for me.
Yes, I do remember those days. I used to do that too. Back when what they picked up was actually, semi-reasonable for you. A lot of those gold rings and things.
Here's Glint, the money-making pet. The little gold-loving goblin you never heard about, but needed to know about. So this...
Well, see, that's a Yelp style design.
Yep, you got bumped off because of this guy. Money Grub, the money-making pet, which is like an ogre? I don't know. Don't like it.
It just looks like a really old, goblin.
We have Golden Tusk, the spirit of gold. It's an elephant. It's cool.
Yeah, I don't know what an elephant would really suit in game.
Let's talk
into that type of thing.
Let's talk rune score. We got Chivo, which is it's something, all right.
It's basically an old goblin.
It goes to the
different stages of goblin.
Yeah. Moving along, we have Roncore, the rune score pet, which is I like it. It's dragon in different stages. It's pretty cool. Or Chief, the rune score pet. It's a real is that a peacock? What is that?
Yeah.
I like peacocks.
I cannot draw peacock feathers, so yep, that's what they wanted to do. As it grows up, it gets, or as it gets bigger, the tail gets longer.
All right. Arizin, the rune score pet. It looks similar to Zoltan.
Only not a fan of that
one. Rune score pet. This is a bad drawing of Max. He's holding a long to-do list that runs back under his legs. When he runs, he does a waddle while carrying the list. When he stops running, he falls forward, gets back up. James, the traveling mammoth. It's all right. Not bad. Not bad.
None of the rune school ones really jumped out.
I'd vote for the peacock.
I'd probably go the dragon on that.
Yeah? You think you're cool?
Does that have the dragon? That had the dragon one.
There was a dragon. Yeah. It was just at the beginning, I think. Oh, goodness.
Runcore, that's the one.
Yeah. Q&A. We are looking to do post-release updates for farming and Herblore. We are waiting for double XP weekend data, and we'll show it on stream. 31,800 accounts achieved 99 or 120. 1,300 were 120 Herblore. 460 were 120 farming. We've received a lot of positive feedback about this style of double XP weekend, and we will be looking to do more things that encourage more healthier style of gaming. I should get rid of this window here, sorry. I have to actually put my mouse over it. Let's see. We're looking to do more surveys in 2020. No plans to do winter weekends this year, but there is a bonfire event on the 2nd of January. Stone Spirits are missing a few numbers, then it should be ready. After Archaeology, we would like to focus on things like the PVM hub. We are looking at making a neat solution for Nightshade. Why? What's wrong with Nightshade?
Don't know.
No plans for boss timers or Calphite Queen or Corp, but it is possible to do. Dead clicks are being looked at. More farming and Herblore achievements. Yes, there are a couple planned. We'll not be adding the Ravensworn achievements.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Although I am still, because of the update, it's so hard to breed because they've got a much higher chance of breeding the traits they've already got. So it's very hard to get them. I'm still waiting on my spiders and sheep.
Fair. Where did I leave off? We may give prehistoric Potterington a home. If we do, we are more likely to not make it constructible. Baby dinosaur pet? Potentially, but Reddit has recently told us they don't want more pets. Oh, cool. Thanks, Reddit.
Yes, don't listen to Reddit. Listen to the actual real players, not the whingers. And sorry.
You can never have enough pets in this game, and anyone who tells you otherwise is a dirty liar. We would love to do a farming tick rework, but it's a huge job. Does power bust of sorcery fill in urns faster? It doesn't give more XP, so no. Seed storage has technical limitations, but Mod Helen is looking into long-term solutions. Thank you, Mod Helen. We appreciate your zealous work into seed technology. And that is your TLDW number 465. In relation to that, RuneScape did tweet today. Mod Hunter and Mod Harker with a brief explanation. When, as far as the dead clicks go, or whatever, the dead clicks in combat, those should be hopefully fixed on Monday. Hopefully. Yep. What else we got here? Coming up next. Oh, excuse me. It was what? Month Ahead. We did that one. Dead clicks no more. Ban the botters already.
We are into our forum posts, all the fun stuff.
Would you grab the first one while I open some more?
I will grab the first one. This is by Brandon7734, who says, ban the botters already with 1T. I have not yet understood why you are not banning bots. There are not enough moderators to enforce your game rules. Chicken farms, cursed energy, all full of bots. They run a specific path over and over and do not fight back when you hit them. They all do exactly the same thing, almost clipping one another. It's gotten to the point where I'm about to quit. What's the point in playing a game when the own developers can't even ban the botters? And you can't even say the mods are busy. I jump on some of the most populated servers on RuneScape to find them full of bots. They're not players, they all run exactly the same path, and you talk to him and he no reply. You hit them, they don't hit back, and they keep doing the exact same path. Do you think they run the same path? Over and over and over. This is feeling like one of those games where once it's made and everything in game is set up, they forget about it for cash grab. I have been watching 6 players, same name. They have been boating here for 4 days now. 24/7, all my reports are doing nothing. One of your mods actually took a day to run around to all these boating spots and started banning. You'd have over 50 bans in an hour. It's honestly not that hard. Actually, it is that hard. Can you guys at least hire, as in H-I-G-E,
Can you take us higher?
Or promote a bunch of players to mod, so this way people can enforce your own Alleluia for you.
My goodness.
Maybe your own rules? Maybe it's a really bad typo?
Don't even.
I'm not hating on you guys, but I spend my money on this game, my spare time, and all I see is little weasels botting, wrecking the game, with no enforcement from your end at all. I understand that this is a free-to-play game, and they can keep making accounts. Keep banning them over and over. Hop on every day, commit a few hours to get rid of these bots. That's what all of your mods should be doing. If they're not doing their job, get rid of them. If I was a mod, which will never happen after posting this, I would clean up this game every day. But anyway, please deal with this issue already. It's been years of crap now.
Years of crap. That should have been the title of this thread. Years of crap. I just sent myself to the friggin' monastery. I'm gonna do it again.
There's you look at the. No, we haven't had one for a while, but you look at the when they post out the monthly things, and there's always 40,000 bots banned. But as quick as you ban one, 2 more are made. So
I'm insulted by the fact that this game calls me a beginner farmer.
Are you only a beginner? God, I'm already a
I
master.
don't have
No, not
time to
master.
play this game.
I know.
I want to.
It's funny. It's really quick to go up though.
Yeah, I see that. As I'm picking an herb, it goes up like a little tick
Yeah.
each time. I was just like, wow, thanks, Jagex. Really call me out, huh? My
Yeah.
120 is not enough. All
There
right.
you go. The Archaeology says, "I'd never understand why you guys don't read the provided stats. From the December 3rd to 9th player support stats, there were 109,000 permanent and 1,679 temporary bans. That's one every 6 seconds, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week."
Right? Who's
Brandon says, read the provided stats. They will wait to ban bots in waves and try to find out where the botted items go.
Oh, so horrible of them to try and proactively stop cheating from spreading.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to find the master accounts. So I would happily. And then when they lock those master accounts, it locks away all those items and the gold that they've made.
By the way, my resume is attached to this forum post since we're firing all the mods. Right? Well, he did say you got to promote a bunch of players, right? So start sending in your reports. If you need a copy of how to become a player moderator, I have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. You can borrow it. All right, next post up here is called "I Feel Jagex is Doing Me Wrong." I hate it when Jagex does me wrong. This one's by ZXXX2. It says, "Hello, everyone. I've tried reaching out to Jagex in other methods, but nothing has worked. Back when I was very immature and young, I made the extremely stupid decision to try and see what, quote-unquote, botting on RuneScape 3 was all about." You make it sound like it's just, everyone's doing it. Just want to see what it's all
I
about.
just want to give it a try.
Just a quick little, just to, test it out. This is very dumb, and I do not recommend or condone it. My account was swiftly and rightfully banned. Can't imagine why.
It was very dumb, so I don't recommend anyone do it because I got banned. No shit, Sherlock.
Over 5 years passed, and I grew up a little. It took 5 years to grow up a little bit. And I also had been in the military for a few years at this point. It took him a few years of military service to get his shit together. Don't unban this person, please.
I'm sort of feeling that being banned on RuneScape is the least of his problems. He's probably sent off a jail or military for robbing the corner liquor store or something.
Well, what he doesn't say is he was sent to the military by his parents because they wouldn't let him live in their house anymore. Well, on a 2-week leave period from the military for my wedding, I appealed, and Jagex graciously gave me one final chance and unbanned my 5+ year account, which was originally from 13 or 14 years ago. I logged on for maybe 25 minutes to an hour, changed the name on the account, and logged out. That was the last time I logged on to the account. Fast forward October 28th. I get a notification 2 days after my wedding date on the 26th saying that my account has been re-permabanned for botting on old school RuneScape, of all things. For many reasons, this is very wrong and a false ban. I tried to appeal this and was auto-emailed back as a denied appeal saying that the offense was reviewed and just. Reasons this is wrong. 1. I just had the account unbanned after 5+ years and was blatantly told that I'll be watched like a hawk, and I have a main account which I am currently writing this thread on, and I wouldn't dare ever bot again. Now, I believe him, but at the same time, Your Honor, I just did a 5-year prison sentence. Why would I ever re-offend? Like,
No.
although I do I believe that his account was hijacked. I was literally getting married and spending time with my family, and at no point did I even log on to RuneScape, nor have the time to. I have tons of picture proof of my wedding these days. It's going to take this to court. Yeah. I have picture proof. Let's see here. The account was RuneScape 3 only, as it is 13 to 14 years old. I've never ever gone through the tutorial island on old school RuneScape, let alone log on and bot. 4. Jagex will not even speak to me about the subject. I would really like this to be relooked at and the account unbanned. He probably didn't put 2-factor authentication on it, I'd guess. Just logged back in.
The first response from the Pope 8657. I have been in the same clan as ZXXX for over a year now and am one of our admins. I can confirm that he was indeed getting married during this time. He has an OSRS account, and it seems suspicious that he was renamed for hitting when he was not able to log on. Please look at this, Jagex, and look at the IPs where it was logged in or something.
Yeah, something. Submit a ban request. I mean, that's not how you go through an appeal process. I believe there's a separate thing. I don't know.
And they'll look at it, and if you're hijacked and it was done, they'll reverse it. But two-factor authenticator, use it.
Lord
Josemar. Not only
Josemar.
on your RS account, make sure your email is secure too.
Lord Josemar wants everyone to be aware of the fact that they were hacked, so I'm helping them signal boost that message, so you can all be aware. I mean, the subject is just, I got hacked, be aware. So I assume they meant beware, but I like to think that this is a public service announcement. First of all, I am stupid. Okay. I'm not here to cry about it, but I would like to warn the other players in the community about this. I was with family and friends, a little distracted, received a pop-up today on my phone about a new email from Jagex. Was about that email address on RuneScape was changed. I was thinking that someone was trying to gain access to my account, which was actually the case. Everything looked very legit, and I fell for an instance of this old trick. For a few seconds later, I realized that I made a huge mistake. I checked the email address, and it didn't contain Jagex or RuneScape, and after that, I immediately changed my password, and when I logged, I found out that I had lost like 15 million worth of items in GP. That's not too bad. Could have been a lot worse. My point is, be aware of these kinds of emails, and since I haven't found any way to report this, the subject was your email change was successful, and the email address was noreply@info.com. I still can't believe that I fell for this trick. That sucks. That does suck. I hate it when you're just not paying attention and you just end up losing your account. You gotta pay attention. Mm-hmm. Would you do me the honors of reading the next one while I open and log into a couple of these rants?
This is from Tutron. RS moving away of OSRS. For players who want to know what is going on to me, it seems like RS3 and OSRS are going to be cut from each other, as that is what is showing right now. If you go to Game Guide download, there isn't anything to be found about OSRS, just RS3's download. To find the new OSRS download, you need to go to Old School download. To find the OS homepage, you need to go to oldschool.runescape. The downloads seem to work, although it takes a few minutes or more to complete, but it is working right now. Check before posting this. Why isn't Jagex saying anything? Trank, who is one of the mods, has come in and says, it isn't moving away from each other, they're both in their proper locations, one would surmise. After all, if on RuneScape 3 section of the site, I wouldn't be expecting to find the old school download, just as I wouldn't be expecting to see the RS3 download on the old school section of the site.
Right? I've had the worst farming run of my life. 50 herbs, that's no problem. I can get 50 herbs.
And then he replies to her, the only thing that still connects us is the RuneScape official forums. Splits are already done here, and there's no guarantee how long that will last. Edit, there's no reference to RS3 on the OSRS website either.
My goodness.
But he's still arguing with people. Aren't we all one RuneScape community, originated from the one spot and place?
Hear to that. What are the seeds that automatically grow? I almost said weed. That automatically grow your herbs for you. I'm angry.
Yeah, you need them out of your player-owned farm. You spend beans, one of the magical beans there. But remember, you need the seed and that potion. Now they changed it to a potion.
Why? What's happened? All right, I'm about to skip
the farming
this.
Update. Right. Yeah, with the farming update, it all...
I couldn't get a measly 50 herbs in that freaking herb run.
How could you not?
Everything died!
Were you wearing, like, your farming outfit?
Full outfit and the aura. But aura doesn't prevent them from dying. Well, it does while the aura's active, but you know what I mean. So I'm either going to skip this incredibly easy task, or I need to figure out a way to grow these damn things instantly. So what is it? How do I do it?
Go to Granny Potterington.
Okay, I'm here at the farm. Where the hell did they put her?
Hang on, let me go to the farm and find out what they're called for you.
There she is. Farmer's market, contract options.
Farmer's market.
All right, then we got.
And then you go into
animals and potions, maybe.
No, yeah, animals and potions.
All right, and we got supreme growth potions. I would assume.
I think that's the one it is. Yeah.
And I believe you buy the herb ones, right? Yeah.
Just
I'm gonna buy like
just right click it and just make sure that is the instant growth one.
I did. Yeah. Well, I mean it's supreme growth. It's can be used to grow any nearly instantly, right? Is that the only thing you need, or do you need something else?
And the seed.
Okay, and the seed for the actual thing that you're planting, right? Of course. Okay. Let me grab some felly seeds here, and we'll just we'll do this.
And while you do that, I will go on to the next one.
Thank you.
By Harky, who says, hacking for items. Hi, I'm a veteran OS player, and for the first time in my life, someone logged into my account and took all of my items. I think Jagex should start working on this thing and at least give back our items somehow, because it's unfair to keep playing this game, winning everything, and then losing all through a hack. I had enough of the sweet text from Jagex asking for a report message about an issue, and then after you send it, they send you a bot email. That means they don't give a shit. I lost all my bank in this account, and I have no reason to play anymore. Stop ruining this experience to the players.
Imagine if you just every company that uses an autoresponder. Yeah, well, I guess they don't give a shit. It's not that they have hundreds of thousands of customers to deal with.
And the first response by Top Bass. If you kept your account secure in the way that Jagex advises you to, you wouldn't have had a problem. Jagex have run an experimental item return feature in the past. They had to stop the feature as too many players were lying about their lost stuff. 33333 says, don't visit phishing websites and scan your computer. Jeremy Cheng's come a really helpful one. How much do you know OSRS did you lose?
Very helpful. Few years of life-threatening work to learn to cheat at games.
That's it. Speaking of Jeremy Cheng, he is the poster of our next topic, which is RNG a punishment? Not saying it is, but does Jagex issue an invisible RNG to 0 debuff on accounts that break a rule where the account can't ever get a rare drop from anything for whatever duration they set it? As an alternative way of punishment? Does this actually exist as a punishment for rule breaking or what? So he's obviously broken a rule and he hasn't had a rare item in a while, so he's getting...
So he's mad.
He's mad. Vapushauka says, shadow banning like that could definitely exist without any player knowing about it. How could you prove it without the counter argument that you just had bad luck? Before a large enough sample size was gathered, the player would likely have given up out of frustration. Mod Matt K may have hinted for the possibility that shadow banning similar to this might exist and confirmed that they did at least consider it before. And Fifi LaFells, who's actually coming with something reasonable this time, who says, oh no, Fifi LaRue is all.
I was like, did you change your name?
Fifi LaFells.
Oh.
This is a new one, I think. He says, I think most of us do get hit by simply crappy RNG from time to time. I'm not convinced that some vengeful JMod has the wherewithal to tinker with individual accounts, though. Something that would surely take a lot of programming mucking about, and would Jagex A think it was worth it just to punish someone for being naughty and risk them quitting out of irritation, and B, think it was actually an ethical thing to do? I had an appalling relationship with a JMod for some years prior to him moving on, and I don't doubt he would have hit my RNG out of spite if he had been able to, but I had never noticed any variation in my RNG, so short answer is no.
Beautiful. Is RNG punishment. I love it. I don't love the cramp I'm getting in my friggin' arm, though. What do we got here? Banned for doing agility tasks.
Now, the original post on this was hidden because of apparently a lot of swear words, but the mod Trank has paraphrased for us.
Thankfully. Thank you. We appreciate it. So The paraphrase is, ran the Birth Orb Agility course 5 times on my alt account and received a ban due to botting. I specifically put on my skilling backpack, redeemed the Silverhawk boots, and charged them with feathers. Transformed my necklace into the agility one and looked up how much XP I could get per hour. Was gonna run the course until 51 so I could do the Slayer task that requires sliding through the pipe below Edgeville Dungeon. So I get 5 laps into the Birth Orb course, and I get instant banned for botting. I'm an actual human player playing this game. Why did you or your bot software pick me up? Was it because my alt's name is Bot Psycho Bot or Bot Psych Bot? Or because people are targeting me? First you permabanned my main 5 days ago, and now you're targeting my alt accounts. My goodness. Shit got real.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to, generally I could be like, okay, well, this clearly happened because of this. I don't know.
No, Trank goes on. Okay, now to address your issue. Seldom does what you're doing at that particular moment have to do with the ban for cheating. It's just after an investigation concluded and the wave of ban was issued. So oftentimes people are indeed playing legitimately when they're punted off the game. However, you were cheating last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, last month. It caught up with the character. There isn't anything we can do about it via the forums. However, if you wish to make an appeal, you can go to there. And she's got the site there. I love that. I was doing a legitimate thing and I just got kicked off the game. Yeah, but it was that, it was that program you were running,
a
2
week
weeks ago. That's actually, yeah.
Yak Track is amazing, says Lion's Roar. I know that recently my posts have been negative about the things Jagex has done, but this one is actually praise. So that should tell you something. Someone who's been shitting on the game, they can still give moments of good feedback. Thank you, Jagex, for creating this Yak Track event. It has been fun traveling along the path and completing the tasks at each level. Hopefully the next event will have more levels to complete. Yeah, I thought it was... I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time.
And I love, it's pretty much all positive feedback on this as well. I agree it's been a breath of fresh air, not having to be pressured into buying keys or hoping to get lucky. This event is probably one of the selling points for me on buying the Gold Premier Club. Thanks for doing something good, Jagex. So, having this out has made someone actually buy the Gold Premier Club. So, and Zundi SD. Only people I've seen complaining about it has referenced the fact that some of the tasks are quite long and require a bit of time to complete. Not everything needs to be done in 5 minutes after it's released. So,
how do you know?
Dr. Spoon, this has been one of their best monetization strategies I've seen. I really feel like this is the route to go, both to maintain MTX income, but appeal to the anti-treasure hunter crowd that's fearful of unfair advantages. It seems like a far more ethical approach.
Yeah.
So, people are loving it, and it's good to see. I mean, I think it's fantastic. I've really, really loved doing the Yak Track. As I said, I just skipped the very last one, which was, I think it was run 8 dungeons or, do 5,000 construction items, and I thought, I've still got one left over. I'm going to use it, and I can't remember what I used the other one, but that's it.
There. Final post here. How do you live with yourselves? By Summer Sparky. I will not be sequestered away into a forum section you and I both know you do not read, but we do. After all, why would you have this Circle Jerk section separated from it? I'm not a child, as much as you'd like me to be so you can manipulate me.
And that was all in bold.
That was all in bold, you're right. How the hell do you live with yourselves? You have the gall to do this stream on a duty of care to players while still having predatory gambling mechanics that manipulate vulnerable people and children into spending far more money than they reasonably have. Or maybe that's the incorrect use of the word have, but we'll go with it. Do you knowingly lie to yourselves and others, or are you manipulated to lie like this? I'm genuinely curious. Has political interest in this situation finally gotten you off your asses to do something about it? Is that what it takes? Not the taking advantage of young and mentally divergent, but the fact that you might get in trouble for it. What kind of scum are you? I will not be silenced. Anybody with a shred of morality will not be silenced. You are scum.
I mean, the douchebag this guy is. I mean, I hope he has his. I hope he gets his R set to 0.
No more RNG for you. I like the CM is comment.
Yes, that's why I threw this one in.
As you've been told twice already, this is not the correct forum for this kind of post. Let's back up here. I am not a child. And then CM Nick proceeds to speak to them like a child.
I know. I love it.
Anywho.
If you remake this thread again after being explicitly asked not to, further action will be taken against you. I urge you to please heed this warning. Thank you for your understanding. Just a nice, that sarcastic politeness. I love it.
Jagex.
CM Nick, you're my favorite CM now.
It's that classic. You can't. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, we've just gone through a big thing where Jagex are actively looking into, working out different ways of monetization and such. They were the only company that attended the request of the Parliament to talk about this type of thing. When there were a lot of other companies asked to come along, and they all just didn't show up. Jagex did, and they're actively working. They're taking on board what was said, and they're working with them to try and do things. I've said it many times, they're not a charity. They're there to make money. They have to make money for their shareholders, for their parent company and such. So they're not going to survive on membership alone. They need, they need some sort of MTX to keep going. And, Yak Track is one of the best things I've seen. It was really enjoyable to do. Knowing what I had to do, and I'm going to get every cosmetic on there, not just, get a bunch of keys and hope for the best. I congratulate them on what was done there. So fingers crossed we see more of these in the future.
Yeah, I hope so. I certainly hope so. I hope to see more RuneScape Weeklies in the future, too. It's been too far and few between episodes. I miss doing this. I'm glad to say that we can do a bonus show on Sunday, because we still have literally another 2 hours worth of content to go through.
Oh, yeah, easily.
So I'm excited for that. But that did mark the end of this show. I wonder if I'll be done with Yak Track by Sunday. Anyone want to place any bets on that? I'm on
what number you're on now?
37. 30. No, wait. How do I tell? Where's the Yak?
No, you don't have to. Yeah, you just click on the little
number 36.
Symbol.
I'm on number 36.
Okay, 14 to go. No, I don't reckon you'll be finished by Sunday.
Okay, so Pern doesn't reckon I'll be finished by Sunday. Get your bets in. Feel free to PM me in game. If anyone wants to do a little friendly wager. What am I gotta put my cooking cape on. I learned this the hard way.
Before you leave too, I want to give you these.
Yeah.
Where are you?
I'm at the Combat Academy. I can go anywhere you want.
Just come to the farm.
Yeah.
Manor Farm. Well, I'll just duck there and pull them out.
I always think the M is Manor Farm. The M is Max Scale. The F is Manor Farm.
F is the farm, yeah. I am an expert farmer, just to let you know.
I'm an apprentice farmer now that I farmed all those herbs. All right, I am at the teleport point. And if I get my shit together, I'll go work.
My eggs. You want a female and a male.
There would be preferable. Thank you.
And what world do you want?
Oh yeah, I'm on 99. I can change to your world.
Oh, okay.
I always just assume that we're on the same world for some reason.
We generally are, but you're on Cooking World.
Yeah, I've been doing all these challenges. They've been putting me in weird places.
Okay. For anyone who doesn't know, the polar bear for the penguin hide and seek is in the well down here at farm too.
Oh, okay. Is that where they moved him, or is that?
No, that's where he is this week.
Okay, I didn't know he hid places. Cool. I didn't know you got points for spotting him. So that's new information to me. Nice.
There you are, one breeding pair. Just go and hatch them. I think they take about 10 days to reach adults.
I'm actually, now that we're done with the show and I'm in between a task that I kind of don't want to do but kind of will do anyway, I'm gonna go start my farm now. What were those? The Jadinkos, right? You gave me some Jadinkos. Cool. Anyway, if you enjoy this episode of RuneScape Weekly, feel free to leave us a like, follow us on your preferred platform. In the meantime, you can find us on social media, facebook.com/rsweekly, also on Twitter @rsweekly. We're also on YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're anywhere. We're everywhere. We're everywhere and anywhere that podcasts are found, including Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, you name it. We're there, probably. Let's see. Support. You can also support us if you'd like to. Patreon.com/RuneScape and get access to today's pre-show and all the pre-shows for only $1. PayPal.me/RSW if you want to do a one-time payment, if you're feeling festive, want to help the show out, I have upgrades that I'd like to do, so if you want to support that, PayPal.me/RSW. Check out my personal projects over at Magebit.me. And a big special thanks to our top patrons, including Ricky A. and many others. Sudwood, thank you very much. Anyway, we'll be back on Sunday to finish the show up. Happy scaping.